Thank you to everyone who is joining us tonight. Hello to all prospective students and families. Welcome to Windsor High School's 8th grade orientation panel discussion. I am Amy Whiteley and I'll be moderating the event tonight. To begin with, we would like to start with introductions of our administration team, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Collins.
Hello, prospective students and families. Welcome to Windsor High School's 8th grade orientation panel discussion. I want to thank you, Ms. Whiteley, everyone else. I'm Dr. Collins, the principal, and I'm so glad to be here with you during these undoubtedly challenging times. Here at Windsor, we strive to provide an environment conducive to student development. We want your students to grow socially, emotionally, and academically. We have a wide variety of opportunities for students to take advantage of that will undoubtedly prepare them for future endeavors. Ms. Ziegler?
I'm going to unmute. So thank you, Dr. Collins, and hello to our families and students. I'm Mrs. Ziegler. I'm one of the assistant principals. We have 3 assistant principals here at Windsor High School. On campus, my role is to support our students and our staff. And I am also responsible for sections of the alphabet, students with last names G through M. So issues that come up, 504s, discipline, those sorts of things, I work with those students, but otherwise I'm available for all students and all staff. And in terms of just work assignments, I manage our career tech education and also our facilities and operations, things like the business office. And I also manage the Aeries, and I also oversee student services, which you're going to hear a lot from tonight. That has mostly to do with our counseling staff. In addition to myself, the other 2 assistant principals are Grace Curtin Fiano, and she is working with alphabet A through F. She has a strong background as a curriculum specialist, so she works quite a bit with our teachers, and she has a background in other subjects, teaching English and social studies and special education. So she brings a wealth of experience to that. She is also a part-time college professor at one point, and she was working to train new teachers. So she has a great background of working with our newly credentialed teachers. Mr. Sullivan is our 3rd assistant principal. He works with students in alphabet N through Z, and his talents include logistics and planning. So some of the events that we've had, he works with the leadership group. He also works with our athletics and sports. He oversees some of the facilities with me, and also coordinates our testing. His background is also teaching science and PE. So you can see among the admin team, there's a wealth of experience. I look forward to answering questions that you may have in the future or possibly tonight. And I'd like our counseling staff to introduce themselves. Let's see, let's start with Sibel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sibel Aparicio, and I'm one of 4 academic counselors here at Windsor High School. I work with students with last names S through Z. It is an honor being here, and part of my role is just supporting the student in their academic experience as well as their career and social emotional experience here at Windsor High School. One of my favorite aspects of my role is getting to work with students throughout these 4 years and supporting them in their academic plan and their exploration beyond high school. And so I truly enjoy just seeing our students grow. And if we can hear from Lauren, one of our other counselors.
Yes, good evening and welcome, you guys. My name is Lauren Schmidt, and I am another one of the academic counselors here at Windsor High School. I work with students last names A through E. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is, working with your students and having them for these 4 years. It really does allow us to establish relationships and work with you and your students on the goals of graduation and beyond. So that is a very exciting and, one of the things I love most about being a counselor here at Windsor High School is getting to see students start as freshmen and moving all the way on to seeing where they're going once they leave us as seniors. In addition to myself and Sibel, we do have two other members of our team, Juan Hergi and Eva Velasquez. They are both presenting in the Spanish presentation tonight, but you will have a chance to meet them, hopefully, if you join us for our after school meetings that we will talk about later. But Juan works with our students' last names F through L, and Eva works with students' last name M through R. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, for introducing the counseling team, and Dr. Collins for introducing the administration team. I do want to make an announcement. We do have the Spanish presentation, as Lauren mentioned, happening right now. If you would prefer to be in the Spanish presentation, the link to that presentation is on the Windsor High School website. As I mentioned earlier, I am Amy Whiteley. I'm the Activities Director here at Windsor High School. I'm happy to be here to help coordinate the 8th grade orientation process. As I not only work on this side of things, I'm also a parent of an 8th grader as well. It will be my 4th child attending Windsor High School. I have the opportunity to work with our leadership students and oversee class officers, the ASB officers, and the leadership representatives. Tonight, we have 3 ASB officers here to answer your questions. These are the same officers that you would have met had we been in person tonight on campus.
Thank you, Ms. Whiteley. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Whiteley, and I am the current ASB president for Windsor High School. I'm so excited to be here and answer questions later tonight. I have had the great opportunity of holding this position through such unpredictable times, and it really is a pleasure to meet with you all today. I am currently a senior, and I have participated in 8th grade orientation multiple times, working once with all of the 8th graders and then again with the prospective parents as well. Again, I'm very excited to be here tonight, and I'm happy to be with my fellow officers as well.
Thank you, Anna. My name is Jennifer Doherty. I am the ASB Public Relations Officer here at Windsor High. I work as a liaison between Windsor High School, the town of Windsor, community members, and parents. I have the honor of being one of 2 youth commissioners on the Park and Recreation Commission for the town of Windsor. I'm so excited to be able to be here tonight and to answer any questions you might have. I'm now going to pass it on to my fellow ASB officer, Ava Miranda.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, everyone. I'm Ava Miranda. I am the ASB Junior Outreach Ambassador. This year, I've been able to work with our younger leadership students, both at Cali Calmeca and at Windsor Middle School. My job is just to keep our community connected, especially despite COVID-19. I've connected with both leadership programs, and I've worked closely with those students. Although I wish we were on campus tonight for spring or for in-person orientation, I am so excited to be here tonight and answer all of your guys' questions for our upcoming freshmen and hopefully make this transition easier into high school. Thank you.
Thank you, Ava. And thank you to everyone who is here tonight joining us. Now we would like to begin with our counselor presentation. Lauren?
Thank you, Amy. Sibel is going to be sharing her screen and getting us started off with that. So, welcome families to our course selection presentation. These were slides developed by the counseling team to help kind of guide you through the process of just what to expect with high school and the course selection process in general. So Sibel, I'll let you take over.
Thank you. You're welcome. So here we have, before we begin, I'd like to mention that we are going to be highlighting information on these slides, but we do have this PowerPoint presentation available on the counseling page of Windsor High School's website. So we encourage you and invite you to come back and reference this presentation as you go through the course selection process. But here we have our table of contents where we go over the information that is covered in our presentation. We also want to point out that we have interactive blue links throughout our presentation, which leads you to additional important information. As we mentioned, these are our members of the counseling department. Here we have our 4 academic counselors who work with students by alphabet, and we stay with our students for the 4 years at the high school. Another important member of our counseling department is our social emotional counselor. She is a great asset to our department. She is a huge support for our students' social emotional well-being. And we also have a link here to her website, and we invite you to check it out for any additional resources and information on the services that she provides. We wanted to present to you a look at Windsor High School's graduation requirements and a side-by-side reference to those A through G requirements, which are college entrance requirements, so that students can begin to explore and look at both requirements, A through G and Windsor High School's grad requirements. We also included a sample 4-year plan so that you can look at how students complete their credits for graduation and A through G requirements throughout their 4 years here at Windsor High School. Here we introduce our course system. Our 910 cores include our English, social science or history, and our science class. And this is basically a learning community of 9th and 10th grade students and teachers who really work together to build a community. We encourage students, and oftentimes the goal is that a student will continue in their core in 9th and 10th grade. That's the idea, so that they can really build this community and certainly gain support from their teachers. Here we have our 910 cores, and we have links to further information about our 910 cores. And we also invite you to check out the videos that were sent out and are included on here, which give you further information about our cores. We wanted to mention that we also have honors level courses for all grade levels, and we have advanced placement courses for juniors and seniors. We do want to point out that we want you to take into consideration the students' academic maturity level when considering honors level courses. And we also, suggest that students reach out to their current teachers for recommendations about the best fit and placement in honors level courses to ensure that it is appropriate for them. We also included information about our math course progression. Most incoming freshmen will be enrolled in Integrated Math 1. If you are currently enrolled in Integrated Math 1 or taking Integrated Math 1 at the middle school, we'd encourage you to seek recommendation from your current math teacher for appropriate placement.
Okay, we wanted to provide you with a sample schedule. Here at Windsor High School, we do run an A-Day, B-Day schedule, which means that you typically will have half of your classes on A-Day and the other half on B-Day. Each day has 4 different blocks. However, we do recommend the majority of our freshmen enroll in 6 classes, which means that it could look like the schedule here, where you have a block at the end or the very beginning of the day without a class. We do have designated areas on campus, so if you do need to drop your student off prior to classes starting, or they need to stay on campus until you can do the pickup at the end of the day, our counseling center and our library are open for students. We also encourage students to use this time to use teacher office hours to get extra help and support, to do homework, or even to create study groups with students. The instructions, there we go. Instructions for selecting courses for fall of 2021. The Aeries parent portal is now open. It will stay open until March 5th. What this allows you to do is between now and March 5th, this allows you to review our course catalog for course descriptions and prerequisites. It allows you to consult with your current teachers for advisement on next year's placement, particularly in the areas of honors, if you're looking to go into honors core, our math placement, or Spanish. We do encourage you and need you to select alternative elective courses. Windsor High School cannot always accommodate that first choice, so we want to have a solid second choice for you that you would be happy with. Again, freshmen typically take 6 classes, and just a reminder that each class during freshman year is a year long. So we just want you to take into consideration that when you are signing up, it's signing up for a year-long course. Last but not least, if you do not select courses, your counselors will choose for you just based on what we have available, and obviously looking at graduation requirements and things like that. But it is really important that you take the time to get into the system and get those classes so your student is off to the best foot possible. Okay. So the first step we're asking you to do is to download our freshman course selection sheet. As you can see in the blue link, if you click on that, that will give you that course selection sheet, which will help you start determining what classes you're looking to take. It also gives you the course numbers, which is going to make it much easier when you go into the Aeries system. We also wanted to provide on this slide a typical 9th grade academic plan. So what your typical 9th grader would be taking, which is the core, as Sibel described. That's our English. This coming year will be world history and science. PE, all freshmen are required to take PE. Math based on your students' level and their recommendations for placement, and an elective. And that might be one of our fine arts classes. It could be a foreign language or another class that you find interesting. With those 6 classes, if you are looking for a support class, for example, a learning center, AVID, an academic support class, we do allow that as that 7th class because we want to encourage students to get that support so that they are successful, but we don't want it to replace an elective. So step 2, selecting an academic, honors, or themed core. This is always a big conversation, a big decision to make. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to look over the videos that were sent out. And again, there's also write-ups that were sent out. They're also on this presentation. So we want you to do your homework and pick something that's a really good fit. So you will select your first choice. And again, just a reminder, that's your English, your world history, and your science. They all come together in that core when you pick that one core. So you don't sign up separately. If you are looking at one of our themed cores, we do have an additional application that we require to get priority. So the theme core application is linked right here. It's also on the counseling webpage where you can find this presentation, so you can look at that as well. We do ask that you choose a second choice or an alternative core from column A. So if you see in column A, that's our honors core or our college prep core. We, again, cannot always accommodate that first choice. So we want to make sure you have something in there that we can work with if we can't, okay? Step 3, choosing additional classes. So selecting your first choice elective course from the course selection sheet. Keep in mind that PE and math are required. So we're looking for now, what is the elective you would like to be taking next year? Maybe it's Spanish, maybe it's Art 1, maybe it's something in our Intro to Mechanics. So check them all out, read through the course selections. There was also a great video that came out talking about our different electives. So please, view those. There are some elective courses that do require an application, and that is our AVID, Broadcast Journalism, and Leadership. So I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Ziegler, who is going to talk us through the Aeries Parent Portal.
Thank you, Lauren. Yes, so logging into the Aeries Parent Portal is the first step in actually doing the course selection. Lots of resources to go look and get your ideas and look at the forms and look at the course catalog. For those of you that might have a question, links for you are on the Windsor High School website. Click menu, then click counseling, And under counseling, you'll see course requests. Select 8th grade, and there'll be all kinds of information there that you're seeing tonight. In addition, this presentation is on that link, so you can get to these active blue links to use. When you're in your Aeries parent portal, you're going to be signed in, and you actually may have multiple students in Aeries. So we're going to show you what to look for on the screens. We've got some sample screens for you coming up on the next slide. So if you have multiple students, and right now you may have a student that's in 8th grade, you're looking for their account that's for Windsor High School. It might say their name and say Windsor High School inactive because we have them pre-enrolled. On the tabs, you're going to look for classes, and then it'll say classes, course requests, and course requests entry. And you definitely want the one circled in red, the entry. Next slide. So this is the slide that will pop up next. And on the course selection form, there is the name of the class and a number for the class. And you can enter the number and then click search, or you can actually click the button that says show all and click search, and it will show you all of the courses that are available to your grade level. And then you click on them, and the confirmation box will show up asking if you want this to be your first choice or your second choice. The request to primary is your first choice, and request alternate would make it a second choice. And you're going to continue doing this for the 6 classes that you want. But actually, you're not choosing 6 classes, because when you choose your core, that already represents the 3 classes we mentioned in the core. So you're going to be choosing the core and 4 other choices. But always remember to select your alternate requests for both core and electives, just in case something is not available, and you'll want to have those requests up here. We do try to honor students' first requests as best as we can. And there is a process in our computers that tries to move student schedules to get their first choices, but sometimes it's just not possible. I'm also going to mention that we'll talk a little bit later about scheduling appointments with your counselors. And that's a great place to tell your counselor what your preferences are for your alternate choices, what you're willing to move around to have a certain type of class if that's available. So that communication with us is important. You can go in and choose these classes as many times as you want, but it does close on midnight on March 5th. I'm going to also suggest that there is no priority on date and time. So if you leave this presentation and actually go request your classes now, it's not date stamped or time stamped. We want to give everyone the chance to do the research that they need, talk to their existing teachers. So as long as it's in by midnight on Friday, March 5th, it will all be in the same priority for us. So it's important that it's in the system, but not important how quickly you do it. Let's see, is the next slide? And I'll hand it back to Lauren. Thank you. Lauren, I think you're muted still. Thank you.
All right, well, let's try that again. Thank you, Amy. All right, you guys, so your next steps after you've selected those courses, we would love to meet with you. So you get an opportunity to meet with your Windsor High School Academic Counselor. We encourage you to come to those meetings with your classes selected. This is a time where we can go over those selections, gives the counselor a chance to make any recommendations or just kind of talk through any questions if you were on the fence about something. So they are 15-minute meetings with the goal of helping your student transition successfully to Windsor High School. We will be running those meetings March 1st through March 11th, Monday through Thursday, from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. There is a sign-up genius that you can book this appointment through, and on the presentation on the website, that's where you can click the link and it'll take you right to our sign-up genius. So, our plan and hope is that we will be seeing you in August for the freshman orientation. This is your opportunity to come in and pick up class schedules, have your school ID, yearbook picture taken, purchase yearbooks. That's when you can come see your counselor if, you need some possible just changes or guidance or clarification on something. And most importantly, to locate your classes and to feel comfortable with being on campus. So we know this is a lot of information, so we want to remind you guys again that this presentation can be found where you can click through the slides and actually access all of those blue live links, or there is an audio version as well. You will go to windsorhs.com, click the menu tab, click counseling, and then on the left-hand side, there's course selection information, and it's broken down by grade level. So you guys would click on your current eighth grade, the current eighth grade tab, and that will take you to this presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Lauren and Isabel and Mrs. Ziegler, our counseling team and our administrators. A lot of information. Hopefully you have done some research and you're a little bit familiar. We would like to then present it to you again tonight. We had submitted questions or a Google form we put out through the Google Classrooms for our incoming ninth graders. It was also emailed out to parents. We received several questions back. A lot of them were actually covered in the slide presentation, but we want to continue the conversation to make sure that we have clarity. And so we are going to begin with Dr. Collins. Dr. Collins, can you please elaborate on how the 8-period, 4 blocks a day schedule is beneficial for our students?
Sure. So as she said, kids have an option to take up to 8 classes, but there's an A day and B day. So there'll be 4 classes one day, 4 classes the next day, and then you switch each day. And what this does, it gives an opportunity for students and teachers to really dig into the curriculum at a depth not commonly experienced. They can take the time to have meaningful discussions, exploratory learning. They can do labs that may take a longer time because they have a longer time in each class to work on those labs. So it just allows our students and teachers to really dig deep into the content of the curriculum.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Collins. As we go through the questions too, we have a lot of pre-populated questions that we gathered through those Google Forms, but we do see that there are questions coming in through the chat as well. And so we'll try to address those and roll those into our answers as we go through these. So the next question is for Mrs. Ziegler. What happens if a core is impacted, and how is priority chosen for who is allowed into that core or elective class?
That's a great question, and one that's definitely on the minds of many of our incoming ninth graders. If students are choosing a themed core, they should also complete the theme core application. We'll double check all the links, make sure they're working after this presentation to be sure you're not stuck in a loop. But so what happens if too many students request a core that we don't have room for? If it's a core that we could expand, we will do that. And we've done that in the past. So we're trying to meet the student interest. If there is a limit and more students have requested it than there's room, often the computer schedules all the students. And so sometimes the computer will find some sort of conflict with the other classes that your student has chosen. And so if that's the case, then we look to have room in your student's second choice. One of the items mentioned in the presentation was that if you have chosen the theme core for your first choice, to consider the college prep or honors level cores for your second choice. Sometimes parents and students want to choose another theme core for their second choice, but that theme core may also be full of students who've requested it for their first choice. This is one of the reasons why it's really important that you make an appointment and spend 10 or 15 minutes just checking in with your counselor you can let them know what your priorities are and why, and they can begin to look at how to address conflicts that come in your schedule. The computer does not automatically schedule your second choices. Our counselors do that to resolve conflicts in student schedules. So that conversation with your counselor gives them a head start in knowing what your priorities are and why.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ziegler. The next question is for Lauren, and she did address part of this in the presentation, but we would like to reiterate this question. Will students have the ability to work with their counselors to figure out what classes they need each year? And for example, what level of Spanish does an incoming Cali student take? And as well, in the chat, we have the question, do parents need to enroll their student into that Spanish course, or are they automatically placed into Spanish because they're coming from Cali?
Okay, thank you. I will break those down and answer them as we got it. So as far as working with your students to help select classes, for our incoming 8th graders, for your current students, we do offer those 15-minute meetings where we are available to answer those questions and help you select the best schedule possible for your students. So that really is a great opportunity to allow us to have that conversation if there are questions. In future grades, we do present to all cores in the spring when we're going into course selections. So we do a presentation that helps walk students through what classes we recommend them taking. We also provide them with evaluated transcripts, which have our written recommendations too on what we are wanting them to take. In addition, we encourage parents and students to make appointments with us to sit down to look over and plan for your 4 years at Windsor High School and ensure that we stay on that plan throughout or change it up if we need to. So we are always encouraging families to make an appointment to come in, especially when we're looking at registering for classes. That's a great time for us to naturally meet and discuss a plan moving forward. In the response to the question about students coming from Cali and their levels of Spanish, we really count on your current Spanish teachers to give us that information, or to give your student that information, and they also provide it to us. So I know in the past, the Spanish teachers have told the students specifically what Spanish level they should be taking. They also provide us with recommendations. If we have any questions when we see, the recommendations of the teacher over what you chose, then, we would call and have a conversation with you about it, which then dovetails into the question of, do you pick your Spanish level for your student? And the answer to that is yes. You would, when you're registering for classes, pick Spanish. It's typically Spanish 4 or AP Spanish Lit would be the recommendations coming from Cali. So you would put those in based on that feedback.
Okay, thank you, Lauren, for all of that information. Our next question is for Sibel, and it was touched on in the presentation as well. And Sibel, can you please elaborate, how is the number of classes for a 9th grader determined?
Yes, so as we mentioned in our presentation, we recommend that freshman students take 6 classes. And that's just to ensure that they have a positive transition into the high school and so that they aren't feeling overwhelmed. So we do recommend, we did mention that in occasion students will take 7 classes, and that is because they're opting to take a support class that is listed on our course selection sheet. And so, we understand that there may be concerns around ensuring that students are meeting grad requirements on time. And so we always like to say that there is, it's not a race to the finish line, right? If you look at our sample 4-year plan in our PowerPoint presentation, we kind of outline how students can earn all of their credits towards graduation and those A through G credits on time, kind of, and they're paced appropriately.
Thank you, Sibel. We will continue elaborating on the registration process and course choices, but our first question to our student representative, Anna, is what ways can students become more involved in campus life?
Thank you, Miss Whiteley. So one of the amazing things about Windsor High School is that there are a variety of ways for students to get involved and learn more about our campus life. We have many clubs on our campus, and clubs are a very easy way for students to find other students with similar interests as them and make new friends and be able to get involved in our campus, as well as many of our clubs actually have outreach to our community and beyond. We currently have about 15 clubs and are always open for a student if they're interested in creating a new club with a different focus. We also have a core senator program that we run at our school. And if you've already seen the campus tour, you would have heard Ava Miranda reference that senator program. And that's an opportunity for students to act as a liaison between their core and the leadership team to just voice their opinions and be able to make some change on our campus. It is open to all grade levels, and I'd really urge students to volunteer for that and apply if you are interested. And then lastly, there's a lot more, but the last one I'm going to talk about today, a very general way to get involved is by joining the leadership program. There is room for everyone in this program, whether you're interested in working on the budget and working with the admin team, if you're interested in planning spirit and dances and rallies, or even just working with our community. Today here, we have 2 of our ASB officers who are community outreach officers. So if that interests you, there are a lot of opportunities within the leadership program as a whole.
Thank you, Anna. Our next question is for Jennifer, a very commonly asked question. How many years of PE are required for students, and does participating on a sports team fulfill those requirements?
Thank you, Ms. Whiteley. So 2 years of physical education are required at Windsor High School, and the sports do not count for PE credit. So at other high schools, they do, but at Windsor High School, sports do not count for physical education credit. So 2 years of PE are required. This is done in the students' freshman and sophomore year. And PE is really fun at Windsor High School. I really enjoyed it. And exercise science, that is a part of the core of, so it is a 4-class core. So PE is within that core, but 2 years are required.
Right. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, here, a very common question. Where can we find out more information about the cores? The cores seem to be the biggest question, something that we always need to clarify. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ava can you please give us an overview of all of the materials that we've provided so far for our incoming families to help inform them about core choice?
Yes, thank you for that question. That is such a big question. I'm happy it was asked. So due to COVID-19 circumstances and this crazy world we're in right now, leadership and admin, we created videos explaining all of these things from cores to electives, which I'll go over in a second. Basically just everything that Windsor High has to offer for your soon-to-be freshman students. There are 4 videos on our YouTube channel, which is under Windsor HS 95492. So type that into YouTube and you'll find our 4 videos that were just uploaded. The first covers the 9-10 cores offered. Keep in mind, it doesn't show our Phoenix core or our non-themed academic level cores. Our second video is our elective highlight video. 3 electives in addition to this video would be our Circle Keepers class, chorus, and culinary, which are 3 amazing electives that I've heard so much about from so many kids. We also have a campus tour video, which I led, so make sure to check that out. With highlights from exciting past year activities, and you get to really just see what it's like when we're able to be on campus, and hopefully we'll be back to that soon. And then the last video we have is our campus life video, which is talking about basically what Anna went over, which is clubs and athletics, all that stuff that will just get you more into our community. So you'll find those on our YouTube. Again, that's Windsor HS 95492.
Thank you. Thank you, Ava. And so as a reminder, looking at the core video specifically, we have two cores that are actually not represented in that video. And one is the Phoenix core, and one is our non-themed academic cores. We did get a question in the chat regarding the difference between Discovery Honors and Wonder Honors. If you have had a chance to watch that video, you'll know, and you'll see on our registration form as well, that Wonder Honors is a media arts focused core. It is a themed core. It is not a survey core like Discovery. Discovery is a non-themed honors core. Wonder Media Arts is themed. Our next question is going to Dr. Collins. This is from a student. I'm interested in playing a sport next year. What resources are available to find out more information about when to sign up, when practices start, etc.?
Awesome. Great question. And for our athletic specific questions, I would encourage anyone to visit our website, which is www.windsorhs.com. If you go to the menu tab, click it, then you'll see athletics. When you go to athletics, you'll see tabs for all of our sports. The coaches' emails are there. The schedules are there. I would, and all pertinent information related to athletics. I would strongly encourage you to go there. Our athletic director, I'm just telling you, she is second to none. She's an amazing woman, a strong student advocate, and she'll take extremely good care of your students. No doubt about it.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. Our next question is for Mrs. Ziegler. From a student, am I required to be in the arts, media, and entertainment core in order to access performing arts classes?
So that answer is no, you don't. We have a number of visual and performing art classes that are available and address student interest without being in the arts, media, entertainment core. So let me highlight a few of them. We have a theater class. We have dance class in multiple levels. All of these are A to G for UC, CSU College, and they're also satisfying fine arts requirements for graduation. In addition, we have music classes. If you're already an instrument player, we have a string orchestra, or we have band, a symphonic band. We also, if you're wanting to get involved in learning, we have a beginning level guitar class. We do have some advanced students who join that because they love playing guitar, and they're welcome to join that, but it's considered a beginning level class. So experience is not necessary, and owning a guitar is not necessary. We have some of those. And we also have drumline, and that's a beginning class as well. If you're interested in something other than a performing art, we have several graphic and media arts. So we have a filmmaking class, don't need any experience for that. We have our broadcast journalism, and we also have yearbook, which is a graphic design class. So lots of options in the visual and performing arts, fine arts area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ziegler. Our next question is for Sibel. Who should enroll in Phoenix Academy, and how will it help my student?
Thank you for the question. So Phoenix Core is ideal for the student who maybe has struggled to maintain grades and motivation, but are willing to take ownership of their own learning and work towards developing a growth mindset with support. So Phoenix is considered our intervention core that is designated to help the student re-engage academically. Teachers work with students not only on their academics, but also on study skills, motivation, and with the goal of transitioning them into one of our other cores eventually. And so we recommend that students check in maybe with their current English, science, and history teachers for their feedback and guidance, since they know their students best around whether Phoenix may be a good fit for them.
Thank you, Sibel. We have a question a little bit related to the schedule and the different times that school may start or end. And a parent asked specifically if they are, and this is for Anna, if they are unable to pick up their child at the time that they are dismissed and perhaps work until later in the afternoon, what types of activities or programs or spaces are available for their student on campus?
Thank you, Ms. Whiteley. So Lauren did address this a little bit earlier in her presentation, but there are multiple locations on our campus that are available from very early in the morning until late in the afternoon, such as the counseling center and the library, where students are encouraged to come and do homework, and they can hang out with friends as well on a rainy day. This is available for students who might have a block off in the morning or in the afternoon or in the middle of the day if you're a junior or a senior. And it's also available just after school as well. One of the fun things that I used to do when I had to wait after school is that there's almost always some sports team in season that is practicing for a game or getting ready. I know our freshman sports teams normally start their games pretty early in the afternoon. So if you're hanging out around campus, you can go into the gym and catch the beginning of a volleyball game or walk out to the field to see some football and baseball. So that's always a fun option too if you are at school after school hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Our next question is for Jennifer, referring to foreign languages, and that was a question that came to us through the Google Forms. However, it's also in the chat as well. What foreign languages are offered at Windsor High School?
Thank you, Ms. Whiteley. French and multiple levels of Spanish are offered at Windsor High School. We also have AP Spanish at Windsor High School, but another amazing opportunity that students have is dual enrollment through Santa Rosa Junior College. Here you can take ASL classes, and that is what I have done. So with dual enrollment, you can talk to your counselors about how to find dual enrollment, when it will be due, and how to apply. And this will then allow you to become a student within the SRJC campus, and you can take ASL or different language classes at the Santa Rosa Junior College.
Jennifer, thank you so much. So nice to have our students here tonight to participate. It's part of our leadership program to always allow them the opportunity to connect with incoming students and parents. Very quickly, students, what is your favorite place on campus, Anna?
I would have to say the quad. We do lunchtime rallies and there's always something happening on the quad. So it's just always full of life and I love to be out there.
Jennifer, favorite place on campus?
The softball field. I play softball, so being there is my happy place. I love to be there.
And Ava?
Definitely the football stadium. I'm a cheerleader, so there's so many good memories there. The football games, when we're able to have them, are always the best. And there's just a lot of fun activities over there.
Great, thank you. Okay, the next question coming to you. Anna, what is your favorite spirit event?
Something new we started last year that has been an all-time favorite for me is our nighttime rallies. It's something we weren't able to do before, but we've had black light rallies in the gym at night, and it's so full of spirit, and it's just a really unique experience because it's not something most schools are able to do.
Great, thank you. Perfect example. Jennifer, favorite spirit event?
I love attending the Lady Jag Bowl. I love getting to cheer on all the girls playing, and it's super fun, super spirited, really good time.
Thank you. And Ava, favorite spirit event?
I like one of our ones that we did a lot on a almost monthly basis was our lunchtime rallies. And those were always so fun because cheer would perform, dance would perform just at lunch, and there'd be music playing. And I think everyone really enjoyed that one.
Okay, great. Thank you to all of you who've participated in answering questions. We do have a few more minutes before we wrap up, and I would like to turn it back over first to Mrs. Ziegler, who may have some more answers to questions in the chat, and then to Dr. Collins to close our event tonight. Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes, are there specific questions in the chat you'd like me to look at?
Doing a great job.
I've been trying to keep up. So I'm sorry if my eyes are not always looking at you. I'm trying to keep reading the chat.
Through these. One of our questions.
There seems to be a lot of another question, a couple of questions that came up about cores. And there was an Apple visual in the presentation. So for 9th and 10th graders, the core consists of 3 classes and the teachers are linked as a team. And the student will rotate between the English, the social studies and the science class with that team of teachers. And they move as a pod. I'll put my hands up, and they move as a pod from one group to the next group to the next group. And other students are doing the same thing, perhaps in a different order. That gives the students a sense of a small community. They very quickly get to know their classmates and their teachers. And then most frequently, the students repeat the core the next year. Most students find a big attachment to their core. And so as ninth graders, they learn about the teachers and get familiar. And then in 10th grade, they come back as leaders because they already know the teachers. They start out the school year understanding the protocols of the classroom. So it becomes a really wonderful 2-year experience of both growing into high school and then becoming a leader among their peers. So that's a really nice opportunity. The students, once they're in 10th grade, so that's a little ways away, they will actually choose a focus area. So there's a core that's 11th and 12th grade. So we're going to be doing cores, one for 9-10 and another for 11-12. And the question always comes up, what if I want to change cores? And we think high school is a great time to be exploring all your interests. And sometimes you don't get your first choice core in 9th grade. You want to talk with your counselor. And if you're thinking of changing cores between 9th and 10th grade, talk to your academic counselor. Let them know your interests. Let them know maybe your interests have changed and you want to try something new. This is a great 4-year opportunity to be trying things that you don't know if they'll interest you, but you want to see. And we love that opportunity that you can flavor lots of things through high school.
Okay, thank you. We do have a question regarding where to find the information to select the actual cores themselves, and that we would refer everyone back to the Aeries portal and select your student under Windsor High School. It's pre-populated. Both Cali and Windsor Middle School students are pre-enrolled, and that drop-down menu for classes, you can choose your course requests right there, and you will select your themed core if you're choosing a theme, or you'll choose honors versus academic in the Aeries portal. Okay. The last question that we will answer, if both your first and alternate elective choices require applications, do you submit them both? And the answer is no. You fill out an application just for your first choice elective, just for your first choice elective. Okay.
If you have selected an elective course that has an application like leadership, so if you have a first choice of a theme core, that needs an application. If your elective choice is leadership, that has a different application. So you'll see on the course selection form, that's the form with all the numbers next to the course names, you'll see a little symbol and it'll tell you if it needs an application. And we also do some follow-up with students that don't submit applications because we're not sure if they've changed their mind. So we definitely want to be sure that the applications get in as well.
Okay.
And there's a question, I'll just answer it for everyone. Does art count as a foreign language? Well, in our graduation category, you need 10 credits in an art or a foreign language, art meaning visual and performing arts, the broad category, or a foreign language, or a standards aligned CTE course. That satisfies the same 10 credits for graduation only. If you're planning to be prepared for UC or CSU, you actually need different requirements. You need the credits for visual and performing arts, as well as 2 years in the same foreign language. So in the same world language. So if you're looking, the slide presentation had information on it that compared the two. So I encourage you to go back. We've had a lot of information tonight. So go back and maybe go slower through the presentation. And Lauren, give us a nod, or Sibel, is the presentation narrated on the website?
Yes, it's narrated in both English and Spanish as well on the website.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ziegler. Can we have a little bit of clarity on French?
Yes.
French and what levels are offered?
So next year, we're looking at whether or not there's enough students for an advanced French level. But in the past, we've had a very difficult time filling the French class. So this year we don't have it on our 9th grade course selection form. But I appreciate the inquiry. We're trying to build interest in it, but our district is really concerned that they're not able to run classes that are very, very small. So we want to be sure there's enough requests. So thank you for that question. And I did put something in the chat about our American Sign Language. Again, these are great questions that if I didn't get your answers tonight, that you definitely should be talking with your academic counselor at that appointment. They have all the kinds of information and they can really dig in with you about why you're asking about it and what your students' interests are. Question about if your first and alternate elective choices require applications. Yeah, we answered that you don't need both. Okay. How do you know who your counselor is next year? Sibel, how would somebody find out who their counselor is?
So all of our counselors' information is posted on our webpage. As we mentioned, counselors are divided by alpha. So your last name would determine which counselor you will be paired with here at Windsor High School.
Okay, thank you very much. And then one more comment about foreign language. It looks like that perhaps French will be offered at the middle school next year. So those of you that may have younger children who are interested in pursuing French.
That would be awesome.
We did get a quick question, and I'll throw it to one of the students. Is campus open or closed?
I can answer that one. We do have a closed campus. Unless you have a block off before or after lunch, which will not be the case for a freshman or even a sophomore. You cannot leave during lunch, but like we've kind of talked about throughout this day, there are so many things that go on at lunch, and often club meetings are at lunch. Sports will hang out at lunch too. So there's always something going on. So most students don't even feel the need to want to leave. So it all works out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I will turn it over to Dr. Collins for any parting words.
Again, thank you for all who came in attendance. This is just amazing. Thank you, Ms. Whiteley, and the wonderful leadership students who put this on. Parents that are watching, did you notice how involved our students were and how they took charge? That's what they learned in leadership class. I mean, those skills aren't just skills you'll use in high school, but those will take them to their careers, and that will help them get promoted before their peers. And that's just some of the things that are offered here at Windsor High School. I want to encourage you. If you have further questions, again, feel free to contact our counselors. They are more than happy to help you. And again, I just want to stress that Windsor High School is not just about an education. It is an experience. We want your students to have a high school experience that is just second to none. We definitely want them to work hard. Make no mistake about it. We want them to work hard, but we want them to have fun. Our goal is not just to prepare them for graduation, but to prepare them for life, academically, socially, emotionally. So parents, thank you for trusting us with your students.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Please send us emails if you have further questions.